Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Seeing as winter is right around the corner, I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to take a little bit of time and talk through all of the books that I'm hoping to read this winter. Also, this video is very kindly being sponsored by Squarespace and we will talk about them in a little bit. So all of the books that I've selected today, of which I have, I think 13 maybe, none of them are really wintry, in the slightest, to be honest. If you guys want to see like a proper winter TBR that includes books that are actually wintry, I did go through a bunch in my December reset, so if you want to go check that out, you can. Or if you just want to see all the fantasy books that I'm hoping to read in the coming months, you can stay here. I just think winter is the perfect time to dive into some fantasy books, and I also do have some sci-fi books on here as well, so we are just gonna get into talking about all of those. I have some series that I want to complete, I have some series that I want to start, I have some series that I want to continue as well. And then at the end, I do want to talk through a couple of standalones and some new releases as well. So got a little bit of everything going on here. So let's just get into it. I think first I want to talk about the two series that I'm hoping to complete, and then we'll go through the rest of them. So the first series that I'm really hoping to complete is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I have a weird relationship with this series, to be honest, because there are books in the series that I absolutely love, but I have made it to points in the series where I'm like, what if I DNF'd it? Because I absolutely loved Queen of Shadows. I gave that book 5 stars when I read it last year. And then more recently, I read Empire of Storms, and that book was like the bane of my existence for the 3 days that I was reading it. And I just don't know how I feel about this series. But I think I am interested enough that I am going to try and complete the series in the next few months just so I can be done with it. It also would just be nice to be caught up on all of Sarah J. Maas' series. That would be very satisfying, but we will see. So obviously I want to read Tower of Dawn. This one I am halfway through currently because I started a tandem read of this one and Empire of Storms last November. I made it halfway through both of the books and then I did not pick either of them up for like a year until I finally got myself to pick up Empire of Storms again. So I probably will start from wherever I happened to have made it last year, and we'll just see if I remember enough to kind of go from there. But what I do know is that I was liking this one. There also was a new romance introduced in this book as well, and I am excited for that. So I am kind of excited about Tower of Dawn. The only thing is Kingdom of Ash intimidates me greatly because it is like 980 pages, which it's a lot. And honestly, why is it not just 1,000 pages? Because it would be so much more satisfying if it was over 1,000 pages. And don't get me wrong, I know why it's not over 1,000 pages, because how many YA books do you know that are over 1,000 pages? I can't think of a single one, so like I get it, but it would just be so much more satisfying to hit that quadruple digits, but it's fine. But if for some reason you guys don't know, this series follows our main character, Selena Sardathian, who is an assassin. And there's a lot more to it than that, but I'm just gonna assume most people have like a decent grasp as to what Throne of Glass is about. So this might be happening, or I might get crazy and DNF the series. It really depends. And then the other series that I'm really hoping to complete this winter is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. So I need to read Days of Blood and Starlight, and then finally, Dreams of Gods and Monsters. It's so shiny. If you guys didn't see, I did read Daughter of Smoke and Bone in November, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I really enjoyed the first half of that book. I really liked the characters, and I was really enjoying the portal magic aspect to it, but the second half of the book was so vastly different from the first, and I really did not like the second half of Daughter of Smoke and Bone. But I am thinking, because the second half was more like backstory, kind of a flashback almost, I'm thinking that the rest of the series is going to get back to like the present day where we are following the characters that I actually enjoy and we are seeing the magic that I love. So I have high hopes for these. I don't know, but I am really excited about them. I do trust Laini Taylor because obviously I love the Strange the Dreamer duology, so I'm interested to see how these go. Because Daughter of Smoke and Bone was her debut novel, and it's just so vastly different from Strange the Dreamer, and I know like the two series have very different vibes, but even her writing was super different, so I'm interested to see if there's like good progression in it or not. But I also am just intrigued to see how this series continues. And now we can talk about the two series that I'm really hoping to just continue. These are like books in the middle of the series. So the first one I have here is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. I know I said I was gonna read this one in November and I didn't. The thing with this series is that I think I have to be in a very specific mood to pick this book up, because I know it's going to be beautiful. I know it's gonna be sad. I know the writing is gonna be stunning, but I think it's just like a very specific mood that I need to be in to pick up a fantasy series that is quite this melancholic. And a lot of you guys have told me that it's really sad. And I just don't, like, sometimes I'm just not prepared for that, you know? I will be eventually, like, I will get into that kind of headspace where I want to read something like that. But I did absolutely adore Robin Hobb's writing style, and I'm really interested to see where things are gonna go in this series, so I am excited to get back into it. I'm also really excited to start the Live Ship Trader series, but I need to get through the Farseer trilogy first, so it's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But I'm also looking forward to this one. So if you guys don't know what this series is about, I will give you kind of a brief summary of like what the first one is about. So the first one opens up on our main character Fitz, who is the illegitimate son to one of the princes of the kingdom that he is living in. And obviously this is a very kind of perilous position to be put in, because if they let him go, he could eventually come back and kind of like lay claim to the throne, but they can't really keep him too close because he is an illegitimate son. So they kind of keep him on the outskirts of noble life, but as the first book progresses, you kind of see him as he starts to interact with more people kind of in the smaller circles of the kingdom. The magic is also really cool in this series as well, because there's kind of two different magic systems that are going on, and I also really liked learning about those, and I'm intrigued to see where those are going to go, because I feel like we've only kind of scratched the surface with them, and I really want to see more. So Royal Assassin hopefully is going to be happening. It's just so long. This book is like 650 pages, and the last book in this trilogy is like 800 and something pages, and I will get to it eventually. I just need to like hype myself up for it a bit. And then the other series that I'm hoping to continue is the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. This one I am super excited about getting to. This is a young adult sci-fi series that follows our main character Spensa, who lives on this planet that is kind of constantly at war with these aliens. So in the first book, you are following her as she trains to become a pilot in the war against these aliens. This is actually the first sci-fi series that I've literally ever picked up. I never really thought I was one for sci-fi, and I still don't really know if I am, but I did really enjoy Skyward. It was a lot of fun. So I'm really hoping that I like these as well, because some of the things that were kind of revealed at the end of Skyward definitely have piqued my interest, and I want to see more of what's going on with that. So definitely going to be reading Starsight and Cytonic hopefully really soon. I know Defiant just recently came out, and there are kind of a series of novellas that go alongside these books as well. I don't exactly remember what the reading order for those is, but a lot of you guys told me in the comments of the video where I was reading Skyward kind of how to read these, so I will definitely be referring back to those, so thank you to anybody who let me know. Before we get into the last books that I have on my TBR, I did quickly want to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. So if you guys don't know, Squarespace is the perfect all-in-one platform to help you expand your brand by building your own website, and I love Squarespace so much because you do not need any prior coding experience to build your own website. And as somebody who is just terrible at coding, that is great news. They have so many different pre-made templates that you can choose from and then kind of tweak to fit your vision, and they also just have so many helpful tools like really insightful business analytics so you can really see how your website is performing. They can help you start an email campaign so you can really engage with your audience. And my personal favorite is their personal blogging tools, which can help you just share things with the people around you. Like for example, I made a website solely dedicated to pictures of my cat, Winnie. You guys know Winnie, you love Winnie. Obviously she had to have her own website. I've had so much fun putting together this website, and I also started with one of their pre-made templates, and I can confirm that it has been very easy to kind of just change things so it really looks how I want it to. And obviously, as any good cat owner would, I take so many pictures of Winnie every day, and it's been so easy to just throw them up on my website. And if I want to switch things up on my website, it takes no time at all to make it look exactly how I want it to. So if any of that sounds like something you could be interested in, you can head over to Squarespace for a free trial, and then when you are ready to launch, you can use the code katieisreading to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my channel, and to you guys as well who are watching this for also supporting me and my channel always. With that being said, let's get back into the rest of my winter TBR. So next up, I think I'm going to talk about the series that I want to start, the first one being An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I know, I have talked about this book so many times on my channel, and I still have not gotten around to it, but I actually, like, it will absolutely be happening this time, because I have a fun little Wyverns and Words announcement for you guys. I think me and Cass are going to be announcing this tomorrow, maybe? But you guys get the little sneak peek preview, okay? So obviously we love doing Wyverns and Words. It's so fun to have like such a public book club that literally anybody can be a part of, and I've enjoyed it immensely over the last year and a half, but we'd been wanting to do something slightly different with it. So I proposed the idea that we start reading series together. Cass was very on board with it, so that's kind of what 2024 is going to be. We are going to be picking series, reading one out of every series each month, and the first one we are going to be starting with is... what's this series called? Is it called An Ember in the Ashes? We're starting with this series, okay? So we are reading An Ember in the Ashes in January, we're going to be reading A Torch Against the Night in February, Reaper at the Gates in March, and Sky Beyond the Storm in April. And I am so excited about this. I hope it's gonna be really fun. I think it will be, to be able to like read an entire series together, so I hope you guys are excited as well. And the Discord is always linked down below in the descriptions of my video if you want to join the Discord, where we talk about the books and basically just anything else. So I will absolutely be reading this book in January, absolutely be reading the second one in February, and absolutely be reading the third one in March. So those are kind of 3 books that are added on to this winter TBR, but I currently only own the first one, which is why this is the only one that I have. I'm not 100% sure as to what this series is about, to be honest, but I know so many people love it. For a general gist, I believe this follows our main character Laya, who at the very beginning of this book, her brother is arrested for treason, and I think she ends up maybe becoming a slave slash kind of spying on this military school. And then you also have our other main character Elias, who attends this school, and he is a very promising soldier, but apparently it's most unwilling. So they team up and do something. I don't exactly know what that something is, but I am certainly excited to find out. And then the other series that I'm really hoping to start is actually a series that only has 1 book out currently, because this book just came out. And this is a series that I've been back and forth on whether or not I want to start, but I think I am just too curious, honestly, to not pick this up. And that book would be Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in a series by Cassandra Clare that is not a Shadowhunter series. This is not the first series that Cassandra Clare has written that's not Shadowhunters, because she did write the Magisterium series with Holly Black, but this is like her adult debut. And I am just so intrigued to see what this book is like. I recently watched a reading vlog where Reagan from Peru's Project read this book, and she seemed to like kind of like it, and I was like, well, I am curious now, so obviously I have to pick it up. This book follows 2 main characters, one of them being Kel, who becomes the body double or sword catcher, as the title would suggest, for the prince, essentially just there to kind of step in for him in moments of danger. And then you have our other main character Lynn, who is a physician, and through an assassination attempt of all things, her and Kel end up growing closer, and through some turn of events, they go meet this dude whose name is the Rag Picker King, who is the ruler of this city-state's, like, criminal underworld, and I don't exactly know anything else about this book, to be honest. I'm really just reading this book because it is Cassandra Clare, and I am so intrigued to see what I think of this book and whether or not it's good. And I actually thought we were about to move on to the standalones, but 5 seconds ago I just learned that this book is not a standalone. And that is The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. I got this one in my Fairy Loot subscription a couple of months ago, and it's not a book I think I would have picked up on my own, but now that it's kind of just here, I'm very intrigued by it. I believe this book is just following our main 2 characters as they have to kind of embark on this journey through the Forest Grimm to obtain this book of secrets, I think it's called? Book of Fortunes, there we go. And at the bottom of this description, I really like this. It says, "Alas, the forest, alive with dark, deadly twists on some of our most well-known fairy tales, has a mind of its own." I do really enjoy any book that involves anything with fairy tales, so I'm very interested to see what I think of this one. From the description alone, I feel like the atmosphere is going to be top tier, but I'm definitely interested to see what I actually think of it as a whole. And then I guess the only standalone that I do have to talk about is The Witch Would Not by Olivia Atwater. I was talking about this book in one of my vlogs recently, and just talking about how excited I am about it, and I'm still super excited about it. Because if you guys don't know, Olivia Atwater wrote my favorite book of the year, which is Half a Soul. Absolutely adored it. So when I found out that she had a new book coming out, I was like, automatically add to cart, please, and now I have it. And this is book 1 of the Victorian Fairy Tales series, which combines 2 of my absolute favorite things to read about in books, and that is the Victorian period and fairy tales. So I feel like it's gonna be a winner. I believe this book follows a young governess whose kind of child that she watches after has been stolen by the Fae, and it's kind of like a changeling situation, like the Fae put a sickly fairy maybe in his place. And she is trying to obviously get the child back. I believe there's also romance in this. I think it is a little bit of like a darker kind of fairy tale vibe. And that is, like, I don't need to know anything else about it, to be honest, because that's all I want to know. That's all I need to know. I am so excited about this, and I feel like this is gonna be a good January read. I feel like January is a really good time for like dark fairy tale kind of vibes, you know? So maybe I should also read The Forest Grimm in January as well. I am very excited to see what Olivia Atwater does with the Victorian atmosphere and the fairy tale kind of theme that runs through all of her books, so I literally cannot wait for this one. And if I had time in December, I would pick this up, but I just don't think I do, unfortunately. And now I want to move on to the 2 new releases that I want to talk about. First of all, obviously, Ruthless Vows comes out later in December, and I cannot wait. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm sure at this point we all know what Divine Rivals is about because it took the book community by storm. It was insane, honestly. Like, everybody is reading and loving this book, and I love that so much because I also love Divine Rivals. So obviously, I'm super excited to see where this series is going to go. Divine Rivals did leave off on a cliffhanger, and I've been waiting for resolution to this conflict for like 5 months, which honestly, like, it could be worse, but it's still been too long, so I cannot wait to pick this one up. And then the last book on this list is coming out in very, very late winter, but it is still winter because I believe the second book in the Stolen Heir series by Holly Black, I'm not sure if that series has a name or not, but the sequel to The Stolen Heir, which I believe is called The Prisoner's Throne, comes out in very early March, and I am also so excited about this. I know a lot of people did not like The Stolen Heir, and I can definitely agree that, like, The Stolen Heir is nowhere near as good as The Folk of the Year. Like, it's not even a fair competition. But I went into The Stolen Heir with, like, very low expectations because I had seen what everybody was saying about it, and I'd kind of, like, adjusted what I was thinking I would get out of it. And that really worked because I really ended up enjoying The Stolen Heir. It's like a really fast read. I really enjoyed seeing more of Oak and Surin, and it also left off on a cliffhanger, and I've been waiting for a year now to get the resolution to this cliffhanger. There's just too many cliffhangers. I don't know if this is the last book in this series or if it's gonna be a trilogy as well. I suppose I could look that up, hang on. Okay, so this is going to be a duology, so it'll be the conclusion to the series. I love a good duology because it's just 2 books and you're done. It's so satisfying. I feel like it's always just really easy to complete duologies. So I'm really liking the fact that this one is also a duology, but excited for this one as well. There are so many other new releases that I do want to talk about, but I will be talking about those in my 2024 TBR. Those are just the 2 that did not make it on my 2024 TBR. So those are all the books. I feel like it's a lot of books. It's a bit of a doozy. I have no actual hope that I will actually read all of these this winter, but I really treat these videos as kind of just like a general list that I can work off of. If I don't really know what to pick up next, I'm like, oh, maybe I can like look at my winter TBR and pick one of those. But for the most part, I am really excited about all of these books, so I'm really hoping that I will find some time for them. So that is the end of the video. That is the end of my list. Obviously, I really hope you enjoyed this video and just, you know, hanging out with me, sitting down and chatting through some fun fantasy books. I would obviously love to know what are some books on your TBR. Do we have any of these same books on our TBRs? That could be fun. Please let me know. Also, before we go, I did want to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you guys are ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having an amazing December and holiday season, or just a fun wintry season so far. And I will see you guys in my next video.